Hello, I'm Sean Strahan, president of R2R, and I'm happy to introduce the Versachair. So I'd like to go through the features, and to start with it, the top 6 controls for the hand control are your basic features. So you have essentially more chair and flat on the top 2. The next 2 are high-low, so raise it up 32 inches high, or the low on the standard chair is 17 inches. And then you have Trendelenburg and reverse Trendelenburg. Now, one of the things that's unique about the Versachair is it has a 25-degree trend and reverse trend, and that's partly how we use the chair to help a patient stand. Now, the Versachair Stand and Transport has the ability to stand your patients. And when you're thinking about standing a patient, you really need to think about not just width, but you also have to think of height. If you order just a basic chair without the stand feature, you would only have these 6 controls. The bottom 4 controls are the stand assist. So with the stand assist, you're going to get an inclinometer and you're going to get redundant controls in both side rails. So in case the hand control gets broken, you're going to be able to control every function on both side rails. So before we do a stand, what we're going to do is we're going to shut these lockout lights off, and by holding the key button and hitting all 4 controls. And the controls, if you look at them, they say 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that's essentially what we're going to follow in order to stand the patient. So for patient 1, for position 1, we hold this, we call this just the relaxing position. This is where we're about to start. And so before we start, I'm going to want to remove the feet plate, because the feet plate, we actually want to stand on the floor. So in order to remove the feet plate, what I can do is pull this pin and slide out the foot plate. Do the same thing for the second. Okay, now we're ready to stand on the floor. So for position 2, we're at the end of position 1 because the chairs, will not move anymore. So position 2 is going to take into a 25-degree tilt forward, but we're going to want to put out our hand controls so that we can position these in the proper position. Now the poles stow on the chair so that you have everything where you need it when you need it. Okay? So in before I put them in position 2, I'm going to also put on these knee blocks. Now I have them nice and loose right now, but before we actually stand, I'm going to tighten them up. On the seat belt, I always keep this a little loose because we want this to be an active. Process to where the patient actually can stand. And the tighter the seat belt, the less ability he'll have to stand. So in position 2, going in. The chair is going to hold 100% of the patient's weight all the way through 2. And what we're going to do at the end of 2 is we're going to position his feet, because a lot of my patients, their feet are abducted. And so now, here you have the ability for the chair to hold 100% of the patient's weight, and you can do what you need to do to get the patient ready. So here, his feet are a little close. I'm going to move him out. And I'm going to tighten up the knee block. And at this point, the patient's going to tell you they feel very secure. The knee block is holding them into the chairs. Can you reach up? Okay, so we have them in a nice position. These can go into 3 positions. They can go a little bit longer or a little bit shorter, but this looks like it's a nice position. And another thing, the side rails are independent of the chair's position. So a lot of patients like it up and back. A lot of patients like it up and forward. Or you can actually have it, up and down for a pivot transfer in any chair position. So the side rails are independent of the chair's position. And these are built so that the patient can use the side rails to push up on if they choose to. So one of the caveats is position 3 is where we actually start standing, and that will not go until you're at the end of position 2. So you've got to keep holding position 2 until the chair will not move any longer. And then at that point, then position 3 will come in. Now, to stand a deconditioned obese patient, this process takes between a week and a month. So what you're gonna find is that the patient can only tolerate, say, this much, maybe the first stand. And what we do is we look at the inclinometer and we say, okay, we're at 35 degrees. And then, we come back into position 4, and 4 ends up being position 1. So it's the resting position. So at this point, anytime you stand a patient, what you're going to find is that their hips move forward. And so while they're resting, what I like to do is give them a 25-degree Trendelenburg. And what this does is it allows them to scoot their own hips back, and it's just a nice relaxing position for the patient between sets. Okay, and so at the point whenever you're ready to go for round 2, we just go back into position 1. And remember, at the end of position 2, the chair is still holding 100% of the patient's weight. This is where we're going to fine-tune the feet and their postural position. Retighten the knee blocks. And then position 3 is where we're going to stand the patient. Now, to make this active, we're going to stop at the lowest angle at which the patient feels that they can upright stand. So, do you feel like you can stand at this point? Just say yes.
Yes.
Okay. Now stand. So this is why we have the belt loose right now. And I mean, if you're unsure, then we would keep this belt a little tighter. But now, as he stands, see, he's going to go from just a little bit. So if it goes to its full upright position, it'll be from 65 to 90 is all your patient will be doing. And then, while the patient's standing, I put it back down in position 4 so that it's going to be a nice, resting position for him to go to whenever he's ready to sit back down. And now position 4 is back into resting. Okay, relax. So the proper position on the drive is elbows at your side so that you can control the back and forth. With the brakes unlocked, so if the brake is locked, it will overcome the drive and it will not let you drive. So make sure the brake is in free, and then all you have to do is turn it on. And the high-low determines whether it's a red light or a green light. We just don't want you driving the chair at a high elevation. We want it to be in a low position. So if you put the chair into a Trendelenburg, it's going to naturally put the chair low enough for you to drive it. So when I turn the chair on, we'll have the green light, the fifth wheel will drive down into the ground, and the potentiometer is going to control the chair's movement. So the potentiometer, if you push it just a little bit, it goes nice and slow. If you push it a lot, it goes nice and fast. So what you're going to do is you're going to control that yourself as you're going to move the chair back and forth. So if you're moving it in this direction, this is the proper way to stand. If you're moving in this direction, this is the proper way to stand. So if I come across a position where I need to stop real fast, I just push this red button into my body. So there's nothing to press, just press it in and it will automatically apply a brake and stop the chair. So that's the Versachair stand and propel.